Welcome to the Hood. I'm your Hood sommelier, and today we are traveling to, I believe, California, or maybe. Why did I say maybe? Because this brand that I'm going to talk about is quite interesting. They kind of, I like to say, are the millennial of whiskey. They took something that is a way to do things that are semi-traditional and took something also traditional and decided to fuse those two together to make their own spirits. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the brand Broken Barrel. If you never heard of Broken Barrel is a brand that actually have multiple expressions that are common with. Why do they call themselves Broken Barrel? You may ask. Because they truly use broken barrels. So Broken Barrel is one of those brands that have been around for a while. And I think in the last 3 years that I've heard about them. I'll be honest with you, I've never tried them, but I've heard a lot of good things about them. And I've always wondered, what is it about this brand that people keep telling me about, that I need to know about this brand? I'm looking at the bottle. Design is kind of nice. It looks, I'm looking at, for example, this bottle right here. I mean, looks okay to me. Very simple bottle, amazing, beautiful design in the back. They do a little bit of peated whiskey. They do some armadillo. Armadillo, the cask of Amontillado. That's what they called it. Here I see a whiskey with a Mizunara. Mizunara barrels is what they use in this one. So what I did is I reached out to them and I said, hey, Broken Barrel, I want to know what you guys are about. I've never tried your whiskey. I've seen it, but I went and purchased a few of them to go, what are you guys about? What do you do? Can you let me review your bottle? So they say yes. So they're able to send me 3 samples to review, and I'm gonna review them honestly. I say honestly in front of you because I have no bias. Even though they send me their whiskey, I want to be actually true to you guys. So if you're a newbie and walk into the spirit industry, I've always had a problem with people using staves in the whiskey production. So let me explain a little bit how Broken Barrel works as far as I'm concerned. So far from my research, the source of the whiskey is undisclosed. I believe it's MGP, but I do not know and cannot confirm that. So I'm hoping that in the future I will have Broken Barrel on my channel, on IG, on Facebook, and we can discuss really the origin of their juice. What I know for sure is, and if you look on it, they're pretty transparent about this, is that if you look on their bottle, they will tell you how this was made. So for example, I'm looking on the sample right now, and you tell me that it is a mash bill of 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley. But the stave that they use, so this is how Broken Barrel will do. They will take the juice, right, the mash bill, so the original mash bill, so probably the heart of that mash bill, and they will take stave from other Broken Barrel that they want to put, I would say, flavor their whiskey with. I'm not using flavor, I would say age their whiskey with, and they will put those barrels in as staves inside. So what is it? It's like Aiden & Oak. Aiden & Oak is a brand that does that as well, but you can see the stave inside of it. Here it looks like they have used a 40% ex-bourbon stave, a 40% French oak stave, and 20%. Now, the only person that I know that if you go to and say, I want my bourbon to taste a certain way, they will be able to use those stave to age your bourbon is actually Maker's Mark. They're the first people that I was like, oh, it's weird that every time I get a Maker's Mark that has, that would be in a store pick or, a special selection, on it, you'll always see a 2, 1, 3, 4 or a number that will actually show you or they use 2 stave of American oak, 1 stave, or this, and that. So I've been always leery of anybody that use staves to actually age their bourbon, because I'm like, I don't know. It seemed more like, you're infusing your bourbon, or you really aging it in a specific barrel for me to enjoy. So without any further ado, I will see if we can try the samples that I've been given from them. One will be a peated whiskey, which I love peat, and 2 of them will be a regular whiskey, and one of them made with a broken oak stave and is at 88 proof, and the other one is at 95 proof, also with some stave as well. So 2 different stave. This one is ex-bourbon and Cabernet, and 20% of French oak. But for now, I would like to review these 3 that have been sent to see if really they stand to the name. Now, mind you, I've never had Broken Barrel in my life. So you guys are seeing my honest reaction today on Broken Barrel. So let's get to it. So it looks like the first one we're gonna taste is made with 80% bourbon, ex-bourbon Cabernet wine barrels, and 20% of French oak. So if you think about Broken Barrel is a fancy, maybe higher and fancier Maker's Mark, truly, because they're doing what Maker's Mark does for their special barrel, but also keeping a mash bill that is quite traditional, which is 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malt barley. Like I say, I've never actually had Broken Barrel, so you guys are looking at my first opinion. This one has 88 proof, so let's pour it and see what it's about. So I'm gonna do a small pour here, and color-wise, if we look at this color-wise, I mean, it's light, very light. We have a little bit of debris inside, but it's pretty light, kind of yellow, almost yellow gold, light gold color. On the nose, I'm not seeing, a little light on the nose right now, but very floral. A little bit of fruit as well. I'm getting a little bit of pear on the nose, and I'm gonna suspect that this will be a little tannic because of the ex-Cabernet bourbon barrel. Very fruity, and a little mix of fruity and floral. All right, I'm getting it's very light on the nose, very light, but I'm still picking up a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of cocoa, just a little dash of cocoa, some fruit, pear for sure. Let's give it a taste. Okay, you can get a little bit of that malted barley. I get a little bit of malt. You can tell. Yeah. It is balanced. It's very balanced. It is light because I'm more into barrel-proof bourbon, but it is light, but it's a nice sipper. You get very fruit forward, It's like an evening breeze. Very mellow, fruity, but more like whiter fruit. So we're talking pear, lychee. I get, some like lychee flavor. Very very light, like delightful, like drinking a Cabernet, really. Uh, it's a little tannic in the mid palate. You get the brown sugar on front and the taste. Not too sweet, but very fruity. You get no hug at all. There's no hug, but it's just a fresh of, just a breath of fresh air. Very light fruit. It's like if you had grapes and pears, and think about a charcuterie board, right? Like a charcuterie board. You have, a little bit of grape, some pear, and maybe some banana, right? That's what you have. Is nothing too overwhelming. It's nothing too much. Just the finish. The finish, on the contrary, the finish is, let me see, one more. No finish. No finish at all. You can, on your mid palate, it stays there where you get a little bit of that rye coming in, but that rye doesn't even have a spice. Now it's 70% corn, so I'm assuming the sweetness comes from there, and the Cabernet and all that give us more of that flavor. But you get a lot of just light fruits. That's the best way I can put it, light fruit. So imagine having a pear, apple, and banana. That's what you get. Nothing burns. There's no cinnamon coming forward. It's a little more tannic in its way of doing things. Yeah. It's a good sipper. If you want evening relax, affordable bottle, and just have this one, this is it. This is it. It's a good sipper. That's the best way to put it. Let's go to the next one. I'm gonna stick with the whiskey first before I go to the peat. So this one actually have a higher level. This one is 95 proof. So if you look at it, is 95 proof. So it has a little more higher proof than the regular barrel, than the one I just tried. But the mash bill is the same. Mash bill is the same. So let's see. So this is the one I'm trying now, is 95 proof. Let's see if the proof goes up. But the difference here is the stave that were in there. So unlike the other one that had the Cabernet stave, this is just ex-bourbon stave. They've also added some sherry cask and some French oak. So let's see if that will. Color is not changing. So the color, if you look at it, is really not changing. So you look at the color, it's still that yellow color. On the nose, I can smell that a little bit of that light oak, a little bit of sherry, but still fruity, very fruity on the nose, very, very fruity. Nothing crazy on the nose. I guess some banana. It's like banana pudding on the nose. That's really what I get. Just banana pudding. Yeah, that's truly what I get, is that banana pudding. Yeah, but fruity. Let's give it a try. This one, something is not computing. The French oak is bringing that darkness, that darker flavor, but it's thrown off by the sherry oak. I see what they're trying to do there, but this tastes more like an infused whiskey. It really does. It really does taste like an infused whiskey, which I'm not a fan of. With the higher proof, I was expecting to get more of that flavor of that sherry coming on front. The nose is much better than the first one though. The nose is just beautiful nose on this, quite sophisticated nose. You get that banana pudding, but still no finish. Still no finish. One of the problems also that I have with, when I had with Maker's Mark is staves are good to put into things, but I feel like if they haven't been aged long enough, I do not know if they really do the work that they need to be done. But like I said, if you like a little bit of, sherry taste to your whiskey, this may be the one for you. But for me, that French oak and that sherry, taste, they are clashing in my mouth right now. So that's why this one so far does not sit as my favorite, because I feel like the first one that had the bourbon Cabernet, even though it was lower proof, it was a good sipper. I can drink on that all day. But this one, I'll drink it if I have to, but if I don't have to, I probably won't go for it. Let's go to the last one. Islay of Peat. So if you know anything about Islay Island pretty much is the peaty whiskey island, if you look at it. And this is actually pretty much a bigger bottle of it, if you look at it. So I'm assuming here that what they did is actually they use barrels, made with broken barrels, oak stave. And I'm going to assume that they made it with a wheat and single malt whiskey, aged minimum 1 year. So these are very, they're young whiskeys. They're very young. So I can't be mad at a young whiskey because, they haven't had time to mature and age. And that's what I was saying about this one. I'm thinking if it stayed a little longer, maybe you'll give it a little bit of complexity, but I see what you guys are trying to do here. So California is coming for the market. And this is 110 proof. I love peats. Any peaty whiskey, I'm game. I'm always on. I'm always ready to actually, to get on some peaty whiskey. So let's see truly if it comes to my standard. And like I say, I'm being fair as to the best of my abilities right now. I'm not trashing the brand. I know what they're trying to do. Like I say, I've never been someone who loved staves in whiskey because I feel like they come a little bit infused. And if you don't age them long enough, they maybe a flop or not. But Broken Barrel, obviously, like I say, this one, if I had to purchase or recommend, I would do. I'm very curious of what they use the Mizunara barrels. If when they used it, what would that be like? I'm sure it will come up different. It's 100 proof, so this one that I'm drinking right now, the PD is 110 proof. That's where I usually sit. So this is about the same color. It sits more like a Scotch color, that perfect yellow bottle. And if you guys are wondering what I'm drinking out of, is Bourbon Trading. Is one, if you can follow Bourbon Trading on IG, and Bourbon Trading makes amazing glasses like that in etching. So he's my favorite guy to make small glasses to taste. But let's get to this one. Yeah, I'm smelling the peat right now. This on the nose. Oh, you get that nice peat smell. Yeah, this definitely smells like a winner. Yeah, you get that peaty, and it looks like when they did the peat, they only did 6,600 bottles. So it's a limited edition. So if you don't have it, let me see here. Okay. So on the front side is a little off. But in the mid palate is definitely, you get that peat that you're looking for. But I don't even feel it's peaty enough. I feel like it should be peatier. This, as I'm looking at it right now, it's fruity and peaty. Fruity and peaty. You know, I just had an epiphany. I truly just had an epiphany. I feel like Broken Barrel will represent training wheels of anybody walking into whiskey. Let's be honest. If you're just walking into whiskey, would you rather be hit with boom, bang, bang, you know, try this, finishing this and whatnot? Or would you rather somebody actually give you some whiskey that have all the flavor, kind of all the flavor profile for you to try and kind of get accustomed to, you know, what you think you like, and then maybe start learning a little bit more about, you know, other intense flavor. Because after going through all three samples right now, I like the peaty one because it's 110 proof, but it's not peaty enough. And I think it's because it had been aged for just a year, and which for me is just for somebody who have more of a sophisticated or longer, you know, a taste, somebody who've tasted some good peaty stuff, I would go, it's good, but not good enough to actually, you know, sit in the peat side. If you're gonna call something Island of Peat or Islay Peat, we need to get on it and have all that peat in. So Broken Barrel is definitely, on the Hood Sommelier, we say we want to teach beginners to taste like pros. I think this is the place to start. It is not pricey, right? That's why I don't have a problem with them. They're not pricey. I feel like if you're beginning to learn how to taste your whiskey, this is the best place to start, because you can now start seeing, you know, since they use staves, you can kind of dissect those flavor. But as a professional drinker or a professional taster, is that the first thing you run to on the shelf? I'll be honest, my answer will be no. But as somebody who's just starting a whiskey, as somebody who's just opening their environment to try new stuff, is this the bottle for you? The answer is yes. So don't hate me, Broken Barrel, but I believe from what I have here, if somebody's just getting into Scotch, I will recommend that you go get the Islay Peat to actually start at least getting what the peaty Scotch may taste like. You know, this cannot compare to like a Volin or an Octomore, because I'm sure the ppm is not that high, but you can still start tasting what a Scotch would be. If somebody is into finish barrels and want to try more of a finish but doesn't know yet, but like a little bit of sherry, I would say try that. And if somebody is just even walking into whiskey and doesn't know where to start, doesn't want to go with the hype and just want to try something affordable, I would definitely say go ahead and try this one to start. So will it be something that I will run after to get? I would say not really. I do have to be fair and say that I have not tried the other stave that you've used, which is the Mizunara stave or the 100 proof, you know, this 100 proof Broken Barrel that you guys have with the, I have to say, Amontillado cask. So it was finished in Amontillado. I do not know if I've tried that yet, and the Mizunara cask as well. So I have to be fair and say I haven't tried those two yet that I picked up on the shelf. But from what I have right here, good sipper, not sure, and beginner to Scotch, go ahead and grab this one. That'll be my final verdict. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any question or did I miss something, please make sure to put it in the comments. I love to engage with you. Make sure you check me out on Instagram so I can actually give you more content. See you next time. Thanks for watching my videos. Really appreciate it. For more information and more reviews like this, please check out the links below. Subscribe to my channel, and please check out my IG for more daily contents and way to make cocktails. And if you want to wear awesome gears like this, check out my website on the description below.